Buffalo Bills. Come on, man.
Fuck, I thought you was a Cowboy fan.
I am, but I'm from Rochester. You know, Buffalo. It's hometown.
Take that off your head, boy.
Come on, man. They're kicking ass. Could have been in the Super Bowl.
That's the nemesis, the old nemesis.
They'll be in the Super Bowl this year.
So Milos, I saw you went. Did you see both events on this past Saturday?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you traveled from one to the other?
Yeah, it was like a 40-minute gap, but you know you have to go to the valet parking and all this shit. I was a little late.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great, man. It's different live.
You mean the power slap?
Power slap, yeah. It's different live. I'm telling you. You can radiate through the floor, man. You can see it coming.
Yeah. That's crazy.
These guys are using their whole body.
Well, you can use whatever. You just can't move your feet.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. You got to stay planted, and if you move, if your foot comes up, that's a foul. So you got to stay planted. You can go down and come shoot up. You can do whatever you want to do.
What happens in the foul? You get 5 slaps.
Yeah, man, but you know what? What is the thing that I'm just thinking? They have to give them more than 10 seconds to recover, right?
Well, they give them 1 minute.
No, they have if you're knocked out, it's a count 10, and then you get up, and if they tell you go left, go right, and if you can't go in the right direction, it's over. So I just think for the sake of okay, give me a chance to slide back. I don't think 10 seconds.
Yeah, but how you, Milos, with some of these guys, if you would give them a chance to slap back, they wouldn't even fucking hit the guy. They wouldn't even be able to reach him no more because they're running all over the place. You see,
the AJ guy, heavyweight, AJ, he was knocked the hell out, man.
Yeah, he was down.
Got up and then knock him out. I mean, it was amazing. It just, look, I said that back in 40 years ago in Serbia, as the Boy Scouts, we would face each other, touch each other's shoulder, and then on 1, 2, 3, slap at the same time. Stupid kids. I mean, this is what we were doing 40 years ago, but it's the same time, right? And then, of course, you kind of try to rush it just like microsecond.
Yeah, of course.
To cheat a little bit. But hey, this power slap is going to take over. I mean, I'm telling you.
It's going to take over what?
Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting.
This is the dumbest sport. Come on, this is.
It's going to get shut down.
This is the UFC. I think, to be honest, I think this is the dumbest thing ever.
Me too.
And simply because, how do you train for this? You don't train to slap someone. You train to get slapped.
Well, there's no defense.
Listen, everybody was saying this is going to be a brain damage. It's going to be a lawsuit. It's going to be risky. It's going to be, Dana White and Hunter Campbell, they don't do anything just because, they calculated everything, popularity. Hey, there is 1 billion views already on TikTok and other stuff.
Yeah, you listening to what Dana is saying, and you believe everything he says.
Of course I do.
Of course. You want to make sure you don't lose your seats.
He said, "Of course I do."
Of course I do.
Yeah. Anyways.
I mean, there was a naysayers for the UFC. Look what they created. And they're creating this with the power slap. Just watch.
Yeah, but if you remember the early days of the UFC, that shit got shut down. They couldn't even get a sanction in the U.S. Until they came back with some rules and stuff. Then it took off.
Yes, but now they already have a rules.
Yeah,
here.
but the power slap is already sanctioned, though.
Yeah, it's a different story now. I mean, you know the whole thing.
But hey, listen, but TBS already dropped out.
Yeah, because
they said it's not interested. The numbers were down. So, and it's always different from what Dana is saying. I don't understand that. Why would they leave if their numbers are shit?
Hey, because they signed up for the Rumble. They signed up for the Rumble for 2 years already. So that's why, look, it's none of that thing happened over there by the accident. It's all planned. It's all considered. I mean, so the thing about slap, right? There was in the history of slap all over the world, Poland, Russia, all that stuff, there was never major injuries. And if you go, Merab Babashvili, my friend, right? beat Peter Young with 49 takedown attempts, with 400 something punches. Okay, and there were actually cases of more than that, and people recover. Here you have 3 slaps. It's still open hand slap. Come on. Yeah. So
well,
hey, and just let me tell you, you're gonna see it on Instagram or TikTok, and you're not gonna want to watch it. It takes like 5 seconds for a good slap.
I saw it.
Oh,
I saw
but
it
if
at
you
the-
wa-
I
but
saw it
if-
at the Arnold.
But if you watch it one time, you've seen it all.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
don't, man. I'm telling you.
The only
You
thing
didn't
that's interesting is if the knockouts.
How,
People,
and how they fall.
people trying to get up and fall over 3 times. That's the only thing
Yeah,
interesting.
exactly.
The slap is not
Exactly.
interesting.
Clean slap can never be not interesting, even if it's misfire.
Are
know,
you
it's
are you
not-
get are you getting paid to promote, or are you just
No, of
promoting it
course
for
not.
free?
No, of course not. I was there. Like,
Yeah, but
Hey,
you
what?
want to see it. You want to see it in a nightclub. You want to see it on a sidewalk downtown.
I want to
wanna
see.
see
I want to
it?
see some
I don't-
females.
I
I
don't
want
know.
to. I want to see some
Yeah.
females do it with big fucking hanging titties and slap your shit out
Yeah.
each other. That's fun.
Happening.
oh, hold on a second. You don't even know the Dominique Cardone, right? You know Dominique?
Yes.
Dominic.
Yeah. Okay. His girlfriend is that Hungarian lady that was in that first power slap that knocked out the lady that was rolling over. That's her. You know, but they're not doing woman, just man.
Why not?
Oh, wow.
Why not?
I'd rather see women than
I don't
men.
know. That's I have to find out. It was just like, oh, what happened, man?
They got the women's version. They slap each other in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen-
There you
They
go.
do.
Next,
got it.
next thing you know, they come out with the new men version where they kick each other in the balls.
There you go.
All right, let's get to. I have something to start right away with Bob.
Beautiful.
Bob, you did a video yesterday saying what's wrong with Big Ramy's physique.
Correct, sir.
What is wrong
And
with
I
it?
was listen. I'm not talking about what was wrong with it. I'm just going by the first thing I see is you put 2 pictures up where you want to compare a 2013 lat spread, and then you want to put an Arnold Classic lat spread out where he's clearly putting his arms back to slowly starting to get into the lat
Yes.
spread. I have it right here for you.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
that's not a comparison.
Yeah, that was the editor's fault, not mine. I had 2 different pictures, which if you look at my IG today, the 2 pictures that I wanted are
Yeah,
on my
but Bob,
IG right now.
why don't you edit it out and put the real picture in?
Because I'd have to delete the entire thing on YouTube. I can't. I don't want.
Don't you look over the thing before you post it?
No, I didn't look it over. It was 2 lousy, easy pictures. I mean,
Because
they
this
shouldn't
looks
have
like
messed it up.
this looks very misleading for
But
people.
let's
That say,
not
oh
confuse
yeah,
with the point, okay? Because anybody's got eyes, they all got Google.
Oh, yeah.
Go look at a picture of Big Ramy doing a lat spread, or any post for that matter, and his first year in the league or whatever, first New York Pro win, and then you look at it compared to this last show. The guy's 2 different physiques, and not for the better.
So what are you saying? So are you saying that Ramy was better in 2013 than in 2020 or 2021?
Oh yeah, I mean he was a
Okay,
lot
so-
better back then.
Well, that better didn't get him bringing the title. So you got to get worse to win the Olympia.
He was also competing against different people. So I mean, you gotta roll with the times
It's
here. You
pretty,
can
no, it's pretty much the same people. The only people missing is Phil Heath and Jay Cutler.
Well, you got Shawn Rhoden in there. There's all kinds of competitors that we had in there that are missing, but that's here nor there. If you just compare Ramy's physique on his own, forget about compared to anybody else, just on his own merit, he's bigger. He's not as shapely as he was. His thighs are even bigger, especially his inner thighs. His legs are like tree trunks. He's missing half his lower back. I think that's already been addressed by Chad and whatnot. His arms are shrinking down. All right. He's got some obvious midsection's much bigger. If you look at that comparison of the pictures I just put up on my IG, it's not even debatable that he's not the same bodybuilder. The question is why, and can he get it back? And I think that's an uphill battle for him at this point. He's also 10 years older, and we all know that the physique changes over time.
Good. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't listen to the whole video. I just saw this, and then I saw the picture, and I was like,
You
stop.
see, you never listen to my whole video.
I said, stop. Let me this, because this is not a comparison. But listen,
No, listen, those pictures are erroneous. Like I said, I'll put that in a new podcast. This probably tomorrow. But right now, the only thing I could do is put it on my IG. And if anybody goes to that right now, if you can go to it, go look right now, and somebody can hold that up to the camera right now. And then I want anybody on this podcast to tell me that you think Ramy's better today than he was then.
hold on.
Anybody?
Let me see. It's on your Instagram?
Yes, please go right now. You'll see it first post up, and it's got two beautiful shots.
Yeah, but it's also it's a picture that's again not from it's not directly from the front like the one from the.
I don't care what the hell it is. Listen, go look at that comparison.
Hey, you just
And I want anybody here to tell me that you see a better physique on the right. It's not even close. You can listen. Everybody can see.
Here's what I'm gonna do for you, Bob.
All right.
I'm gonna take that picture that you have on the left,
Yep.
and I'm gonna put a picture on it from 2023 or 2022, and then you tell me which one looks better. Okay? Because I'm gonna find the picture that's directly from the front, just like this. Because I can show you pictures. I have pictures of Ramy from 2013 all the way to now. I can show you pictures in his front lash spread from 2014 where you say that's not a good physique. It's just because it's a different angle.
Bro.
Okay, so listen.
Come on, man.
Do we all know that his lower back is atrophied or whatever happened there? Yes.
Something's going on.
I
Yes.
know, but that was going on when he won the Olympia too, and nobody complained. I don't get it.
Well, I don't think it was as bad as it is now.
It was exactly as bad as it is now, Bob. It's the exact same thing. You can go back to 2020 and 2021 and look at his back double biceps. It's the same thing as it is in
So
2020.
you got Big Ramy beating Samson at the Arnold?
I never said that, but here's what I'm saying.
No, I'm
I
asking you.
I would have loved. I didn't get a chance to. They never put them next to each other and let them battle it out. That's what I'm saying.
That's 'cause there was no
I'm
battle.
saying that Ramy was much better than he was at the Olympia.
Well, that could be, because he was way off at the Olympia.
Exactly. And also what I'm saying is he should have been compared a little bit more. That's all I'm thinking. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. And there's a lot of others that have the same opinion.
Well, they can't see. Not everybody has an eye for bodybuilding.
See, Bob, that's not true. You can't say that. You can't say
It's
that.
very true.
Don't you
Listen, you
think?
can't go
Don't
by
you
the
think
fans.
just alone of as a Mr. Olympia, you should have the right to be compared?
He did get compared.
Well, on the outside.
That's where they thought he compared, being compared to, right?
Okay.
They didn't think he was incomparable to the top three. Most experts did not have him in the top three.
Listen. I never won the Olympia, and I was compared.
Listen,
I got to stand next to guys second and third and first. When
you
I didn't.
compared these guys all day long. All it would have done is highlighted that this is not the best Ramy we've
Well,
seen.
but at least they do that. At least give them the chance to
I'm all for it.
highlight.
I've been bitching about more comparisons for years. I think Big Steve does a nice job for the
I'm
most
not
part.
complaining about the result. I'm just saying that it would have been nice to see him because he was impressive to me. And I mean, not so much on the screen, to be honest. Because looking in the screen and what the people saw on pay-per-view wasn't as impressive as what what it was looking from in front of the stage or looking at pictures or high quality videos. You can really see that he was in shape. He was much improved, but he still would put it in the outside. So I would have just loved to see him being compared just a little bit more. Just, if you go down in the fight.
Well, listen, okay, I'm going to get myself in trouble again for the millionth time, but here it is. In 2006, finally, because what Dennis is saying, we were requesting for more call-outs. 2006, at the Olympia, we got in written form from Jim Mannion, the decision that from 2007 is going to be top 10 crisscrossing. Okay, so it's going to be top 10 competitors going to be compared. And this was in writing. So first contest 2007, Ironman. And I have 5 guys. I had Hidetada, I had Joel, Sylvia, and all that. Great. We go for the prejudging, right? And it's like 2 competitors, and prejudging is over. And I'm like, what? you know, stop right there, stop right. You were there, Bob, right?
Yeah,
And I got in
remember.
trouble. I got in trouble. Jim Henson called me and gave me the spanking, and I said, "Oh, but Jim, you said so." So, for example, Hida at that show was phenomenal. And I know you were commentating. You know, he was seventh. He was not even considered. He was phenomenal.
But Milos, I can understand when judges see there's no need to compare someone. I can see that. I can see that.
Hold on. There was very much need for Hida to be compared in that show. He could clearly be third or fourth, and he proved that a week later and qualified for Olympia.
But how much? Where did he end up?
Seventh, in the possibly best shape of his life. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this in perspective, right? But it was like just Ironman. There was no bikini, wellness, this and this and this and that, and they still shortened it. And I reacted that way because not for me or just for my athletes, for the sake of all the audience, we want to see more comparisons. That's why we go there. We wanted to see Nick Walker and Big Ramy at Arnold Classic. Oh,
but wouldn't it, as a fan?
Yeah,
and I know I'm a little biased, of course, but as a fan, and for $300,000 fucking first prize, why not put Ramy in the call out with Nick next to Nick?
They only had 10 people on the stage. They should have just.
That's what I'm thinking. There was plenty of time to mix match these guys and put Ramy in the center of Nick. Or Nick and Samson, or Samson and Andrew. Yeah, and then at the end we had only a top 3 call out.
Yeah, but then
it's not like you got to hurry because you got 400 people that you got to get on this stage. It was just only a certain amount of people.
I'm not complaining about the result. I just would have loved to see these guys get compared just a little bit more.
But how much can they do it? 2001, you were a third.
I wish.
You were third.
Hey, if Samson would have been fourth, Milos wouldn't stop talking about this right now. You would not stop talking if Samson would end up in fourth or third.
No. Hold on a second. What this has to do? I'll talk more or less. I didn't even have to jump in. I'm just putting it in perspective. I wanna all of us to have a same thing. And if Big Steve is here, he would explain that also. Sometimes there is a need, sometimes there is no need.
Right.
So at that 2001, there was Ronnie Coleman, Chris Cormier, and you were third. But we were pissed off because they didn't even call you out. You were third. You give me a chance to compete. You know, I'm gonna stand there. You don't think I'm worthy? Okay, give me third, but let me stand next to them. We had that argument. I was third behind Ronnie and Flex in a couple of shows in Canada and Florida. They called just those two, and I was pissed off. Like, oh shit, why don't you give?
Oh, me, 2001 Arnold.
That same thing happens on the amateur stage.
They did that to save Chris.
The national stage.
Yeah, but hold on. But in this instance now, I'm just thinking. They gave
I was the Ferrari, Dennis. I was the Ferrari.
You said Mercedes, so you upgraded now. Real quick.
They gave Ramy a chance, for that top 5 initially, and they called him in a confirmation on Saturday, top 4. They clearly gave him a chance. Do we want to mix and all this stuff? We do, but Steve doesn't need to. He does this what he does. But I think all the audience would want to see Samson, Andrew, duel, and Big Ramy and Nick Walker. It would be great. That's what maybe Dana White would do, right?
But didn't they have him as the top 4 at one point at the Arnold?
They had it.
Top 4? Yeah. But not so much. Not as much as you wanted to see.
Yeah, but they only moved the other guys. They never moved Ramy. I guess Ramy was on the outside the whole time.
He was basically fighting for 4th and 5th the whole show. The top 3 kind of established themselves when they came out. And to be honest with you, I had Jacked in second up until he faded badly at the night show. Other than that,
but what do you go off of? You stand on the side of the stage. You don't see them from the front. How do you judge them?
No, but I could see them. You've emceed plenty of shows.
And every time I MC, but from the side, I can't compare these guys.
Yeah,
you can get a lot. You can't, obviously, you don't have the front, the best seat in the house. In this case, I was actually closer than the judges were because they're so far back at the Arnold. We need to change that. But to me, it was very apparent that you had a 3-man race from the start. And like I said, I would have had Jack in second, but he did fade badly at the night show. That's why Nick.
So
ended up
Bob,
getting
Bob, let me ask you this though. So do you think that Ramy had no shot at being in the top 3 there? There's no possible way. Okay, so what advice do you have for Ramy then now? What does that mean?
Well, I actually gave him my advices on, which are always the right ones, of course, on my podcast yesterday. If I was running Big Ramy's camp, I would take the next year off. I would get his stem cell or whatever he's going to be doing, whatever protocols that there are in place, because obviously there's some issues there that need to be resolved. And I would be coming back with a kind of a leaner, meaner version of Ramy. His weight is too heavy. He's got too much mass. It's not as shapely as it used to be. I think that's very evident from the pictures, and anybody can see that. I would be coming back in the 270-something range, not the 280 or 90-something range, and he might still have a chance of getting back.
There's no way he could be 270.
Yeah, he can, but he wouldn't be the Ramy that we know.
Well, listen, I'm just picking arbitrary weights. So before people get stuck on a certain weight, let me say that I would be coming back 10 pounds lighter, trimmer.
He was 20 pounds lighter at the Olympia in 21.
Whatever. I'm just saying, from what I just saw at the Arnold, I would be reducing that physique. The thighs are way too big and out of control. The shoulders, especially in that picture you just saw on my IG, nothing. Listen, they're not shaped as they should be. Let's just say that. Okay.
You know what I think, but you know what I think it is with the shoulders is because the triceps is a little bit down. So and if that triceps would be full, the shoulders would look normal.
Nah, Dennis, go look at that picture again, bro. Come on, man. The shoulders are at right angles. There shouldn't be right angles in your shoulders. We all know what that's from, and we don't have to, delve into specifics.
Yeah, but Bob, what is that from?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
It's from something that we all do. It's not SYNTHOL, it's not site injection, it's steroids. You could see it.
Yeah, but Bob, everybody's trying to, accuse him of using SYNTHOL.
Listen, I don't care if he's got.
I know, but are you one of them? Are you one of them that accuse him of SYNTHOL?
No, I don't accuse him of anything. I don't care. I don't give two shits what anybody's doing, injecting, taking, whatever. It's fair game. All right. We don't have a federation that's a natural federation or anything. None of us claim to be in that situation. I don't care what he's doing. It's what it looks like, and it looks bad.
So you're saying a certain amount of oil in whatever it is.
Cool Whip.
It's too much it's taking the shape out of a delt shape. Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, I mean, again, go look at that picture. It's right there, boys. Go look at it right now.
You want to see more quality than quantity.
On my IG, and you will see what I'm talking about. It's very evident. It doesn't look good. Nobody's accusing anybody of anything.
You can go all around.
So
most guys that's competing today, you can go all around. And
if I want to point stuff out, I'm gonna point out with everybody. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If Ramy would ask you for feedback, why did I place fourth? What would you say?
What was the last part of that?
If he would ask you for feedback, why did I place fourth? Why did I not? What do I need to do in order to win the Arnold?
Again, trim it down 10 pounds lighter. Okay, you got to get the waist back down in size if you can. The thighs, don't ever squat again in your life. Okay, go to other things. You do not need more size. His legs have increasingly gotten bigger, which only makes his calves look even smaller. And he doesn't have small calves. His thighs are gigantic. His waist is wider. And again, whatever's going on with his back and his arms could be whether it's nerve problems or whatever. He's got to get regenerated or get some work on it, whatever. That's all giving a different physique than what we saw just a few years ago. My advice is simple. He needs time away. Step away from the gym, get yourself healthy, take a year off. He's qualified for life, and come back to the Olympia with a renewed physique.
A renewed physique. Didn't you say something about he's almost 40?
Yeah,
so you think
he is almost 40.
So you think he's going to come back with a renewed physique?
Do I think so? I think it's a very tough road.
Many Olympias won over 40. Many. So that's not.
But I just think he's saying, like, if you got the quads in a reduced look and more detailed look, it would fare out better. Is that what you're saying, Bob?
That's exactly what I'm saying. listen, again, if you look in particular, if you're being specific, his inner thighs have actually gotten a lot bigger over the time. Years ago, his quad sweep was absolutely crazy. When he first came on the scene, you looked at that physique and you went, what the hell? This guy was a wrecking machine. But over time, and again, whether that's training related, whether he's still going heavy at the rack, whether he's doing heavy, big, giant presses. I know he's a big, strong guy, but you got to change your training as you get older. You don't need those core exercises anymore. He's not building a base. He's a 2-time Olympian, for God's sakes. Change the training around, change the mindset, and change your physique, and come back if you can, right? And present a physique that can be challenging, at least, for another title.
What can make the body change or the muscle shape change, the way the muscle actually looks, is going to come down to your intensity, the pressure you're putting in the primary area of the muscle, of the physique. All that's going to make it change. Doing things, even posing makes muscles change if you do it enough as an isometrical type movement. And also, if you artistically put your body together, like, okay, we have enough here, we need to get this better. We can just take the whole body and artistically put it together. I can see, something like that being very beneficial for Ramy.
See, Bob made many valid points here for sure, right? So let's go one by one. Legs are off the chart too big, that we know, and really, as you said before, there was just lateralis that sweep, and now it's just like volume is ridiculous. Okay, so I also agree. I would tell him not to train legs whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
As far as what Bob was saying, not accusing anyone of anything. We all do injections, but we have to be careful, because if it's anatomically incorrect, which is what Bob was saying, if it's too pointing, you don't use the SYNTHOL, you don't. But whatever you're putting there, it makes that sharp edge. Then you have to know how to pose, and you could see this in Ramy when he opens up, lifts up. Then you can see this, and then when he rolls down, you can see less. So you have to be master of presentation to hide that. I've seen what you're saying, Bob, many times, because I had 10 people send me, oh, look at this, look at this. I said, he is not using a SYNTHOL. What are you guys, talking about?
Right.
But the level of competition now is so great. I think there is two big, tall guys like Ramy or taller. They are also wide, almost as wide as Ramy, and they have a better shape and they have better balance. So now he's like, oh, he was winning. How come he cannot win now? Well, listen, it's so close. Here is a Chris Cormier, for me, one of the guys that should be Mr. Olympia several times, right? But he was competing in the era when there was Kevin, and there was Ronnie, and there was Flex, and there was, so many. Here, for some reason, like, okay, somebody gets third place, and now it's a granted. Everybody that I beat before, they can never touch me.
Right.
This is a way of thinking, right?
That's so true.
Bob, can Nick Walker win the Olympia against these guys?
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else, every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
What's that?
Can Nick Walker win the Olympia against guys like Samson now, and Andrew, and
I gave a perfect
Derek?
Now listen, before everybody got on the Ramy train, I commentated on Nick Walker the day before that, so I got inundated with the hate mail. Nick got robbed, and then Ramy got robbed. Everybody got robbed.
Everybody got robbed. Yeah.
But let's put this down. I found the perfect analogy the other day. Everybody keeps asking, why didn't Nick beat Samson? Okay, all we got to do is go back into history a little bit. Lee Haney versus Richie Gaspari. Okay, that's Samson versus Nick Walker to a T. Richie Gaspari, ripped to the bone, right? The lines in the glutes, right? Ripped glutes. He was one of the first guys. Grainy conditioning, right? Was Lee in better condition than Richie? Never. But does anybody here or anywhere else ever think once that Rich should have beaten Lee Haney?
Nope.
And the answer is easy. No. Nobody ever had Rich beating Lee Haney because Lee Haney was just a better specimen, right? Better symmetry, better proportion, better shape, conditioning enough, right? But didn't have to be over the top. This is Samson versus Nick Walker. Why doesn't Nick beat Samson? Nick was grainy. He's in condition. He's ripped up, right? But he doesn't have the shape, symmetry, proportion, and everything else that Samson had. This is an easy 1-2. Not even debatable that Samson should have beaten Nick.
So why would Nick beat Andrew?
Well, listen, I had Andrew in second place. Andrew faded pretty badly on Saturday night. He went to soft.
But when you look at the score sheets, Nick was second Friday and Saturday.
Well, not necessarily. What we saw was the end result, but Andrew was being considered, and I talked to a few judges personally.
No, but if you look at the score, if you look at the score sheets from Friday, from round one, Nick was clearly in second.
People got to remember, though, what you see on the score sheets is a culmination of a day's work there. It doesn't mean, just like people keep insisting, and they're wrong on this, that Samson had straight ones. Listen, other people did have first place votes, but you got to remember something. There's 11 judges. This is where Nick Trigili gets it wrong every single show. He's got to be corrected. There wasn't 7 judges. There was 11 judges. There was 3 highs and 3 lows that were thrown out. So if he had some ones, or Nick had some ones, or Andrew had some ones, they would have gotten thrown out. If they had a third or a fourth, they would have gotten thrown out. That's why we keep the integrity of the process, so no one judge can screw anybody and all that kind of good stuff. So I personally would have had Andrew in second until the night show, and then he did fade. So Nick, I think, justifiably got second place because, yeah, while he's missing some stuff, so was Andrew. And then we go on from there. I got to give a big hats off, by the way, because even though we're not mentioning him too much, you got to give it up for the giant killer, man. You know, holding his own against guys that were 100 pounds heavier than he was. That's pretty cool.
You keep saying 100. It's 120.
Sorry. You'd be right.
Yeah. Don't shorten for 20, man. Yeah. but yeah, true. I mean, these 3 highs, 3 lows make it safe. And now I'm going to jump in. So you would assume, as Bob is saying, if they like shape of the Samson, they're going to like the shape of the Andrew. So if Samson beat Nick every time, why didn't Andrew? Now you said that he faded. I don't think he faded that much in the sense, you know, from prejudging to finals, but he faded in the sense of volume and size, fullness that he had at the Texas show, even at the Olympia. He was much bigger version of Andrew Jack. This is the only version of beautiful Andrew Jack physique with the shoulders like this, V-taper, crazy abs and all this stuff. So he came ripped, but volumization went way down and he kind of looked stringy. And now there was, okay, he needs 20 pounds to compete against Samson. And then, that's the, you know, especially side view where you see there's no thickness to a hamstring and even quad from the side. This is where it's at. This is my thing of fading, because so many people say stringy or skinny, or they don't know, you know, how to find.
That's the wrong word to use with this guy.
Yeah. So you have to be very careful. But he didn't fade it in the sense like, oh, he lost the conditioning or anything. I think he was super conditioned. Both Chris's did a hell of a job. You see, but people would want to think this is the Andrew Jack that we know if he just gets conditioned. So he got conditioned, but it's not this Andrew Jack. Now he's 20 pounds smaller Andrew Jack. So it's not same physique, only 6'2" and the shoulders like this. So he didn't fill up the frame like he did before.
Right. And I said that before. And listen, when I ask questions, it's not the questions that I have because I couldn't answer them by myself. It's just I throw this question out for the fans because I know those are the questions the fans will have. You know, I know a little bit about bodybuilding. You know,
so. A little bit, a little bit.
but okay, just at that point, right? I've been having now. I think Bob, you said this in one of the podcasts. It's not just shape; they're looking for everything. So does Nick Walker still have a chance to win the Olympia? Hey,
yeah,
of course. If he freaks everybody out, brings that wow factor, you know, plays to his strengths, he still can. Not in my book. If I'm a judge, of course, I would always go one way because I'm true to #bodybuilding. Let's have a Lee Haney over Rich Gaspari. You know, that's what Bob was saying. But
did anybody answer that? By the way, did anybody have Richie over Lee Haney? Just for the record.
Hell, no, I did it. I didn't.
DJ?
Richard was young.
No way, no way, no
But-
way.
Yeah, no
But-
way.
Yeah, it was
Let me
just
tell
a-
you something, Nick, like we asked, can Nick Walker win an Olympia? Listen, we can't ever rule him out. The guy's a hell of a bodybuilder, right? But the
Yeah.
difference between Nick and, let's say, a Samson or one of those guys is Nick Walker's fate lies in the other guys,
Right.
not the other way around. If Nick Walker comes in and he brings what we'll call the Branch Warren factor, and he's just shredded and ripped up and muscle, and he just brings all that good stuff that he can bring. The other guy, somebody has to come in off. Okay, because Samson, let's just take these two guys straight up since that was the call, right? Samson is a better bodybuilder when it comes to shape, structure, proportion, symmetry, presentation.
And
He's
balance.
just better.
Balance.
Just like Lee was better than Richie Gaspari, all due respect to Richie, right? He can't change his shape, but the other guys can get conditioning, and that's what Samson did, and that's why Samson beat Nick at the Arnold, to answer that question.
Well, there you go.
Stunned silence from the audience.
Hey, but also, you said, when you're judging you, Bob, from the side, you normally, on the microphone there.
Sure.
That's a whole nother show from what most people can see, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah. No, yeah.
I was actually right behind the judges, which is, I guarantee you that's a whole nother competition if I was 10 yards ahead of where I was sitting. So that being said, the guys in the way back, they got a whole nother perspective on what happened.
Oh, listen, DJ, you just summed it up earlier saying, we've all said this. All four of us have said this on different occasions to the fans because we all get shit from the fans, right? Judges don't know what they're looking at. What the hell are they doing? Blah, blah, blah. They're changing what they want, all that. First of all, they're not changing what they want. They always want the same thing. It's just who presents it up on stage. Sometimes what they're looking for doesn't exist. So you got to go with who's closest. Number two, I wrote an article years ago called Vantage Point, and it was about watching a bodybuilding show from like 6 different positions, right? The judges table, first row, the 50th row, on your computer at home, on your TV. It is an entirely different show because we all get that same thing. Oh, I guess you had to be there. Yeah, you had to be there.
Yeah.
It helps when you're 15 feet away from these guys. You see a whole different show, DJ. Am I correct?
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And like I said, screen and being in front of the stage is 2 different ball games.
Yeah.
And this could be positive or negative.
Sure.
I've seen people look better on screen than when you really see them. Because the quality. Because usually at the Olympia backstage, the screen made everybody look like crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, plus the bigger guys are going to look better if you're watching on a screen, because you can only see so much detail.
Yeah.
If you're in person, and let me tell you something. Again, I'm closer than the judges. The crazy conditioning that these guys are in, you can't see that. Even the judges get some of that, but again, I get most of it. These guys are in tremendous condition.
Why wouldn't the judges go closer to the stage then if that's too far back?
Well, this is an issue I have brought up with the
VIPs in
organizers
front of
there.
those guys?
They need to go. I mean, for some odd reason, the VIP section kind of got put in front for ticket sales years and years ago. Here's the problem. You can't be 50 feet back like the judges are and really get a good look. You could see they were struggling. Okay. And especially for the darker bodybuilders. I mean, you get, and these, let's face it, the new Nigerian, train that's coming through, these guys are dark. And it gets very difficult to see conditioning when you're that far back. Judges should always be 15 to 20 feet away, okay, without question. All they got to do is put the exact setup that we have at the prejudging at the expo. Stage, 20 feet, judges, press, start your VIP. Every show should be like that.
Yeah.
Bob, one thing, because you're highly influential and you can make that call. We have to have ladies with the oil right by the stage when somebody's fading, losing the oil, to be retouched. So that happened to Samson in Boston. Yeah. It was horrible. He's losing it big time, and then he looks like he's softening out. So same thing at the prejudging at Olympia. So he went back right after this first comparison, looking for it. I'm looking for Samson. He came back exactly the same in like panic mode. Second time, third time, the lady on that side of the stage didn't have it. So he tried the other side. They didn't have it. So we should have ladies with the oil ready to catch up.
Usually
They
the
can make,
tanning chicks are back there with, towels, oil. Hunter
It's
Labrada went
so
off the
good.
stage
You can
probably
actually-
3-4 times at the Olympia because he was melting on stage. And once that color starts to go, all hell breaks loose. But I agree, Bill. There should always be people on both sides with water. Obviously, if somebody needs a Gatorade or some such, but more important, the tanning. Once that stuff starts to run, all hell breaks loose.
yeah.
Fast forward to the Olympia. What can we expect this year? So now we got a strong Samson coming on, putting his name in the mix. We have Derek, Hadi,
Yep.
Nick.
This is an easy one to me. If, and we're always talking hypotheticals, but we got to do something. That's what we do. If Samson comes in the Olympia, 5% better than he was at the Arnold, you're looking at your new Mr. Olympia. Simple. Nobody else has his shape.
What do you got to do? What do you got to
nobody
do
else
to
has
do
it.
that? What would be the plan, Milos?
To bring him 5% better. Yeah, listen, we talk about this. Really, initially we only had SHAUN CLARIDA to worry about, right? Right after Olympia, I say, okay, it's only 8 weeks that we had. No, we need to get him lighter a little bit, a little bit more conditioning, but still we didn't need to go for crazy conditioning. So when I heard that Nick is coming, okay, Nick is going to beat him in conditioning and only on conditioning. This is it, right? So we're going to be tighter enough, because I thought that Samson could beat Nick on the same basis that Bob was saying, even at Olympia, but I was biased coach. I'm, speaking out of my ass. I'm not, telling the fact. I always say, how did this physique beat that physique? Only on conditioning? Okay, we're going to tighten up a little bit more conditioning. Going against HADI CHOOPAN, there is a slice and dice, like goddamn super hard, that the granite look. We're not going to out-condition either him, but we have to come close. We need to come close to, okay, they're going to say that this is the hardest, driest Samson has ever been, and bring that same size. I know, Bob, you were saying before, he doesn't need to be 300 pounds, but look, he's growing and getting shapelier, because there's that, still, he can still fill up the frame. You're saying he can bring, bigger and wider back. We already expanded the shoulders. I think the shoulders in last year grew considerably. Capping and this tie-in separation is a little bit more visible. He's super, super motivated. He can taste it. I mean, Lee Haney himself, he called me the other day for the 30 minutes just to say how much he appreciated Samson's look. He calls him Excalibur, right? He can do it. But Hadi is a compact, nothing missing. I was saying, even if you remember, Dennis, back in 2021, I mean, Hadi is the only one that can stand next to Ramy. And actually, when he opens up that front lat spread, he was so wide. We don't consider Hadi a big guy. He was 212, right? But let me tell you that lat spread from front and lat spread from back, he goes all over the place.
It's probably one of the biggest ones.
Yes.
When it comes to the lat spread, yeah.
Then he has a...
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Lat spread, front double biceps. You can't forget about Derek Lunsford. I mean, when
Derek Lunsford wins that shot.
I don't think anybody opens up like him.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
If Derek can get as good from the front as he is from the back,
then
and he'll be second to Samson.
Yeah.
I love you, Bob.
Yeah, see?
Listen,
here's
the bottom line, boys. I love Derek Lunsford. I think he's a genuine talent. And I did think the other year when he won the 212, he had the best stacked double bicep in the entire show, even the old guys back then. That said, the improvements he's made, another year of solid training, his shape and proportion, symmetry, all that is just a shorter version. He's very well put together. You could very well be looking at a Samson, Derek 1 and 2, and then be filling in the rest with Hadi and the rest of the crew. And that's depending on, obviously, we don't know what Jack's going to do. I think he still needs to thicken up from the side at his height at 6'2". He needs a little bit of thickness, gets a little bit exposed on the Olympia stage because those guys are that great. And then you've got the question marks, with the guy like a big Ramy. Bonac, I think we've probably seen the best of. He's going to take a year off. He told us at the seminar on Sunday at the Arnold. Probably a good move. So we're going to see. I think you're going to see a shakeup this year. Dennis, your original question, what are we looking at the Olympia? But if Samson nails it, there's your next Mr. Olympia. I think this is an easy call.
No, I said the same thing. I said the same
I
thing.
I like the shape of Samson, and I think he would be a problem for a Hadi in my taste, just because of his shape. And Hadi's like, he's got the structure, more like on the lines of like a Ramy, but more compact. But that athletically shape of Samson, man, it's, like I say, it just brings me back to when I was starting to bodybuild, what I like to see up there as far as the champion.
Sure.
So I didn't finish the thing. We didn't really suffer for 8 weeks. I didn't.
Please don't make that stomach bigger. Please don't get that stomach bigger.
Oh, give me a goddamn.
Let me grab you. I'm gonna grab you.
Hey,
Please.
You tell me. Look at his waist now to the Olympia. He went down.
I'm just saying. I'm grabbing you by the. I'm grabbing you right now by the face.
You could have said that about me for 20 years, and my waist of 12 years of insulin didn't grow an inch. I put you on insulin, Chris, too.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but hey, listen, mine grew
Well, you grew. Yeah.
tremendously.
Pull up my skirt.
You grew because your whole
Pull
body
up my
grew.
skirt, Milos.
Exploded.
Oh,
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Even though he's a relatively newcomer and he didn't do as good as the Olympia as we thought, do you guys think with another new year of training and now a renewed sense of what he needs to do, where do you guys see Michael KRIZO in this?
Yeah, I mean,
he's just gonna have to do some. I think he personally needs to do some things a little differently. He's still young in the sport, so he's still finding what's gonna work the best for him.
what do you mean he's still young in the sport? He's been competing for years.
Yeah.
He's just competed in different federations.
He's young in our federation.
I wouldn't name them IFBB. I said different federation.
Right.
Yeah. Now the real bodybuilding.
I don't promote other federations.
Yeah, but you know what? I got to be honest, though. Other than lacking back, which he sorely does, and you can see because he's got those arms are ridiculous. His arms look like Phil Heath's arms. All right. If he can isolate and get his back to respond and grow, I think this guy's a threat up there in that top 5.
Okay, but for me, it's I like certain body parts on Michael, but something here throws me off. It just throws me off.
It's in the waist. It's in his core area.
It's either is it a short torso or long leg? What is it? It's something that throws me off.
He has shallow abs. He has a shallow abs. He doesn't have a deep.
Then
he doesn't have that line here.
And with the arms just bring you to a whole nother dimension.
Yeah.
That probably couldn't hardly even be on that physique.
I mean, if he can do what you just mentioned,
impressive.
yeah. If he can do what you just said, Bob, he absolutely is a top 5 threat.
Let me ask
What are
Milos,
the chances of him doing it after so many years and not having the back? You think he's going to be able to get it now?
Gotta work it.
Let me pitch a question to Milos. You're a local historian here, as I am. Do you see KRIZO as being a threat, or is he another Fedorov?
No, I see him a threat because he has the ability to be super shredded. We see him in some of those Instagram pictures like peeled out of his mouth, just like Nick Walker, right? He definitely screws up his last few days, something, definitely. He has, as Jay Cutler saw him at the Gold's Venice and said, whoa, striated look, chest, shoulders, right? Everything was popping. And he has a round muscle bellies. Yeah. I've seen that his chest is full, and that's most muscular. It's ridiculous. But I've seen him also flattish. And then, back is not even that bad. Somebody made that comment. And back double biceps, things were a little happening, but he doesn't have a width. So most important thing for Michael KRIZO is to create extra and V-taper. A little bit more to the legs. It sounded like he had a bad legs, but still a little bit more because once he leaves those arms, it's most ridiculous front double biceps ever. I mean, he even did Nick Walker's front double biceps upper body wise, right? So KRIZO is a threat, most definite. especially because he has a full year to prepare. And I hope they're just bombing that back, bombing that quad, and trying to stretch the abs, make it deeper, control it. Yeah, as Dennis immediately catch it. There's too many poses because of midsection. The whole picture doesn't, fit.
So some are going to come from posing also, and how you present your physique.
Yeah, but God, I mean, guy's a monster and quality monster. And I heard like his brother doesn't even train. It's like monster himself. I mean, so genetically, when genetically you look at the weight and you grow, this kind of thing. So, if he trains whole year, he's going to be a threat. Definite top 6 material, and top 6 means anything goes.
He's so impressive when he hit that most muscular at the press conference. That was some shit. I was like,
the most muscular is fucking ridiculous. especially close up, because he's got size for days. Yeah. Now, Bob, since we have you on here, this is a good topic, great topic. Last year's Olympia, we had almost 400 competitors. Way too many. Way too many in each. Some of the categories are over 60, which I think it's ridiculous and fucking expensive on top of it.
Classic bodybuilding was over 60.
So now what's going to happen? I heard they took away the point system, so no more qualifying by points. So that's 3 less.
Yes.
What's that going to change?
That's going to change nothing. What will change is, you got to remember now, going back to last year, we didn't have 12 months, we had 15 months. Okay, yeah, so there was proportionally more shows and therefore more people qualifying. I've got no issue with 10 million people qualifying, okay? Everybody and their mother can qualify. What I got an issue with, and what I've been shooting for years, is to get a simple cut round, like every other sport on this earth has, okay? Qualify, great. Gets people there, good for tickets, good to keep the ball rolling, gives people an Olympia experience and all that kind of good stuff, right? Good overall for the sport. But not everybody should make it to the next round. Tennis, golf, wrestling, anything you can think of, all right? We've all been there. Chris, you were a world-class wrestler back in your days, right? You didn't just automatically go to the finals.
Nope.
You go to the Olympics,
in a consolation round. If you don't win there, you go.
You see the Olympics. I saw 8 lanes on the TV. I didn't see 52 lanes of everybody and their mother racing, right? You got to make it through semifinals, quarterfinals, again, whatever. Have a cut round, bring it down. Those are the people that you pay. I wouldn't be paying for everybody. God bless, Jake Wood for shelling out, but that was a pretty hefty check that he had to cut for all those people qualifying. Do you realize, DJ, to your point, we had more competitors, I should say, in men's physique than the Arnold had in the entire Arnold. Yeah. Just to give you guys a perspective out there, how many people qualified for the Olympia this year? You saw them meet the Olympians. I mean, again, everybody and their mother you couldn't really get to anybody. Those are things I think we need to be looking at, but I would love to have a cut round instituted.
Yeah, but that would take even more time. See,
No, it wouldn't. Let me tell you why. Take the press conference and get rid of it, okay? Let's do a different form of it on Thursday night, meet the Olympians. Everybody's right there. It's the same thing, right? We could literally have a form of the press conference on Thursday night. Take Thursday during the day, and you have your cut round, okay? And
so you think the athletes need to compete 3 days back to back?
No. Listen, if you didn't win, I mean, I got a whole system in place, which I'm not going to take the time now to explain, but
take your time.
Well, hang on. I'll give you the brief description. In my system, the way it would work is it'd be like golf, where you have majors and minors. Okay, let's just say we went and picked, 15 major shows, and they're all the shows everybody was thinking, right? The Arnold, New York Pro, Tampa, Chicago, this pro, that. Pick a few overseas, right? So we spread it around. If you win a major, you get everything. You get your expenses paid, hotel, all that per diem, right? You're in the program. You're at the Meet the Olympians, all that stuff. If you win a show that's not a major, pick a smaller show. The San Antonio Pro, this pro, that pro, Vancouver Pro, whatever, right? If you win one of those, you qualify, but you're on your own dime, okay? And you make it to the cut round. So the people that win majors, 15 of those people, put them over here, okay? Put them on the side. Everybody else who qualifies, you come there to the Olympia Thursday afternoon, You bring them out in groups. You don't get individuals, okay? You get groups. Sorry, Milos. You get groups. These people now have to get cut down. We're going to pick 5 from these people. I don't care if there's 50 of them, right? 5 are going to go on, get joined with the 15. Now you start your prejudging. 20 people, 10 on one side, 10 on the other.
So if let's say for instance we have men physique, there's 60 competitors. So the let's say the ones that won the major show are already through the prejudging, and let's say there's 45 others that have to compete for 5 spots.
That's right.
Yeah. See, I would have another idea to bring the numbers down.
All right, sir.
I would say, like, you know, I like the sound where you said major shows. I would make all the U.S. shows major, which means if you win a show in the U.S., you qualify for the Olympia.
Okay.
All the other pro shows that are not in the U.S., outside the U.S., Europe, wherever, you have to win 2 to qualify.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
How's that fair?
What do you mean, how is it fair?
And why?
Simply because, you know,
For demographics?
because those are not major shows, I would call it. If you call them major shows, then that's a major show that qualifies you, and those are not major. So you have to win 2 non-major shows to qualify.
I mean, listen, there's 100 ways we could dice it, but you or I are on the same page in terms of, okay, have majors that you get all that stuff, and you get a pass in round 1 and all that. And no matter how you dice it, because like I say, DJ, there's probably 10 ways we could dice this up, right? Then you have the other people. Listen, just because you qualify don't mean you get there, right? You got to qualify. And if you qualify 20, and again, that's all in my system, that's all Jake would be up to paying. So instead of paying for 400 athletes, you're going to pay for a third of that. You're going to pay for whatever that comes out to, 15 or 20, again, whatever. We're just picking out numbers, but per class, you would know exactly how much money you got to come up with because it's the same number. I don't care how many division shows, whatever. Now, this doesn't apply to all the divisions because let's face it, wheelchair, obviously we don't have those kind of numbers. Women's physique, we don't have those kind of numbers. So there are some anomalies there.
I have a question. I have a question. How many U.S. shows are there?
We have the Arnold, then we have New York, we have Tampa, we have Chicago, Boston. We didn't have Boston this time.
Well, that's gone. But
so we have the Legion.
The Legion, yeah.
And
Texas.
No, there's more. I don't know if we're counting Canada in there, but you got Vancouver, you got Toronto Pro.
Yeah, but that's just in the U.S. I think there's 6. That's 6 in the U.S.
Okay, Northern America. But another question. I have my suspicion, that maybe Bob did it. Who came up with the point system before anyway? You?
I got an answer for that. And you're going to love this, Milos. Because it wasn't your brother, okay? I had nothing to do. All right, let me go back some years, okay? Robin Chang came up with the point system at the same time that I submitted what I'm telling you guys right now. So this was my idea, I don't know, 10 years ago, whatever it was. And Robin had the point system. And we both submitted it, and they went with the point system thing. Now, I wasn't a fan of the point system then or now. That's why I hated it. Because you're just rewarding people that aren't going to do shit at the Olympia anyways.
But hold on. Just it just occurred to me after you said what you said and what Danny said. Danny said, okay, the other shows you have to win 2. Why don't we boil down all the other shows is by point system, and then only 3 guys are gonna qualify from that, or maybe top 5. That way you eliminate. Okay, you have to win 2 shows. Now that point system would maybe make sense. You have this first tier, direct qualification. It's the shows that you pick that are major shows. And maybe, I was never, such a fan of a point system, but maybe in this instance would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we said, we can come up with 10 solutions in 10 minutes, but the idea I think is sound. And that is that it shouldn't be just unlimited to have, I thought everybody got cheated a little bit at the Olympia because we had to cut down the times just to make sure everybody got their time on stage and such. And Listen, those times should be used, or that time I should say, for comparisons.
Yes.
That's the whole show. I mean, listen, forget about comparing 50 people. Compare 10 and give them an equal opportunity to get compared. You're talking about the top 10 in the world here.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing, to be fair, I mean, people don't like to see those comparisons. Oh, why didn't you put the Ramy in favorable comparison? Steve and judges, they know what they want to see. I mean, but just because we fans, we would like to see that, is this really necessary? Maybe judges say like, that's not necessary for us. We made our decision. I just think, you know, for that, like Flavio and Luke, you know, that comparison didn't need to be done. All right. But, you know, they did it for the fans. So for that reason, I mean, if you're into show business, you want to do, you could have done Nick Walker and Big Ramy, two monsters that everybody wanted to see, even at the Olympia, right? Never had direct comparison. And Samson and Andrew, how many times? I mean, Jay Cutler would say that a million times, I would pay. He says, I would sponsor that call out. Okay, so there you go. Maybe we can sponsor it.
I like it.
All right.
EJ.
All right, so we switched topics real quick. So I was
Caught
still.
you sleeping, bro. Let me ask you guys a question. So there's been a lot of chatter this week, because obviously I brought up some topics on my podcast. Everybody's got a topic, of course, and all that. But is it fair that athletes that are competing get compared to themselves in their previous outings as well, or is that just a natural thing that you can't help but do?
I always got compared to how I looked before, when I almost died and came back out of a coma and rushed back onto the stage. I'm not going to look like I did in '99, but they were judging me. What was that cat out of
Raquel,
that fucking guy. Judge me.
Well, yeah, but Chris, of course they have to judge you of, you know, I mean, if
Oh,
you,
so I'm gonna look. So, yeah, but what I'm saying
if
is,
you look great, the next time you come back, if you look
No,
great and next time you come back looking half-assed, I can't judge you that way and say, okay, we still put you
still
up in
gotta
the
go
front
who's on stage
because,
with you.
you know, you had a fever before, you
can't
know?
have a bias because I'm on stage with people who I should have beat.
Oh, well, that's a different story then. You know, if
Yeah,
you,
but I'm saying, but the guy was like, he was talking to Jim, and he was like, and I'm looking at him like, this guy is thinking I'm supposed to show up like I did in 1999 right now, and it's like, you know, whatever, 5-6 years later.
it would have helped though. It would have helped a lot
And
for sure.
almost died just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Well, this is my
But that was
point
his
and
whole
premise.
thing.
This is my point and premise to this, though, is it's almost impossible. And we do the same things, right? Guy comes out and you go, I've seen him better before, right? You can't help. It's very difficult to detach somebody that you've seen better previously with what you're seeing on stage and being compared with that lineup, right? I mean, it is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody says, oh, Nick should have been as full as at Olympia, right? So you're directly comparing him with that right away. I mean, example.
But you have to. You got you know, if you remember someone the way he looks, and now he comes in looking less, you know, not even close to what he used to
Really
be.
good at the Arnold.
So
I mean,
of course, even though you don't want to do it, you have to. It's already there. It's right in front of you.
And I bring this up for the reason you guys just said, right? Nick Walker obviously made some changes in a 3-month time span, or let me correct that for Nick Trigili, 11 weeks. Because he had to correct me on that. It wasn't 3 months. Yeah, I know. It was 11 weeks.
Basically.
My bad. Okay. But you almost have to compare because you go, I've seen this guy fuller, which therefore means he looked, I don't know if that's the case, he looked better, right? Nick brought it down, in my opinion. He would have had a chance to win. I still think Samson would have beat him. But if he came in at the Arnold like he did at the Olympia, he has a better chance of winning.
Those legs just got to be fuller from the front.
Right.
But it just sets off the physique when something's not up or down. I feel like in the for proportional wise.
I'm just trying to remember, is there anybody else that is coming out of the ranks, out of the amateurs, that can be?
Well, first of all, where are these guys? All right, where's Carlos?
Who?
Where's Carlos?
Oh, he's doing his pro debut now. He's now doing the New York Pro.
It's been what, 2 years?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
He's getting ready.
I guess.
Listen,
I
these
guess he
guys-
had to put on some more size.
I just went through this the other day on my podcast, right? You are in your prime in your 30s, okay? That's it. Nobody, other than Dexter Jackson, God bless him, right? Nobody generally gets better after 40, okay? You're pretty much over, you know, you're kind of on the back nine there, right? In terms of physique development.
Sean Roden, he won the Olympia, what, 42?
Roden, we'll give it again, you know, a
Chris
slight
Dickerson.
exception too. But bottom
Chris
line,
Dickerson.
for most of us human
Ronnie
beings,
was
okay?
over 40.
Yeah, again, there are your exceptions to the rules, but even Ronnie, you can make a case that the Ronnie we've seen later in his career was not as good as the Ronnie earlier in his career,
Well,
right? His
yeah,
peak
but-
was not his last Olympia victory.
Bob,
So-
I'm like saying, like when you're 25, there's a certain look with the body. The neck is full.
Correct.
The water retention to the muscle. There's
Yeah.
a look at 32. There's a more mature. You got a little leaner. There's a look at 35. You're like actual prime peak.
Just check
There's a look
out
at
my neck.
38.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah, you look down. You look
Look at
down.
that. Look at that.
Yeah. Don't,
I saw you fuller before.
Listen,
that's the only muscle I can show.
I saw
There's
you
a,
fuller before.
listen, there's a phrase we've all used in our various descriptions and commentaries and stuff, and it's called pop. There's a guy at pop on stage, and we all see when that pop is gone. And it's usually towards the later end of the career where the guy still looks good, right? But he doesn't have that pop. And people, it's hard to explain to people
Oxygen balance.
what that means, right? What that is. And it's just a certain look. When a guy hits a shot that he looks fresh, shit's busted, right? It looks good. He looks young and youthful and strong, as opposed to the older guy, again, who, you know, it still looks pretty good, but lacking in pop. The Carloses, the rest of these guys who've turned pro, we've never even seen yet from 2, 3, 4 years ago. Don't waste your prime time in the trenches here in your 30s trying to get perfect.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, we ain't never going to see you on stage.
he's getting ready for the New York Pro,
Yeah.
though. He's dieting right now for the New York Pro.
You can
I mean,
get-
he's a great.
you can get better each year, but show what you got for this year. Show what you got for the next year.
Yeah.
I was competing every year. Also, Milos, also, you know, Dennis.
Well, you know, Sergio's a good specimen, right? I mean, listen, I like Sergio a lot. I know he's had some recent things that might keep him off the stage again, but we haven't seen a whole lot of Sergio over the last 2, 3 years collectively. This is a guy, again, approaching 40 now. He ain't the new guy anymore. He needs to get out there and get, you know, mix it up and see if you can get to that damn Olympia and contend.
Sergio's gonna make it. He'll be in the next show.
I hope.
Had a little bump in the road, but he is. I spoke to him a couple times.
Good, good.
Recently, so
Is he
he's,
doing Arnold Brazil?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
popping back into place, and
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
is
man.
when is the Arnold Brazil?
For
Middle
4.5
of
weeks.
Oh
doing
yeah, yeah.
the FIBO.
Ah,
Oh,
that's right.
the same weekend, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, he should be able to make it.
Yeah.
He looked really good.
A little
you know.
trauma, but your body's gonna snap back.
Yeah.
you know.
He looked really good a couple of days before before that shit happened to him, and I was impressive. I saw a couple of pictures. It was really impressive.
I hope so. He's a talent, man. You know, we need these guys out there. You know, for that, we were talking about, you know, qualifying the other day and all that. Personally, I wouldn't be qualifying anybody except the winner of the Olympias at every Olympia. Get everybody else out on the circuit, man. Get on the stage.
But you're right, Bob. You do got to compete when you're in your prime as
Yeah.
much as, I mean, you have to be as much as possible, but goddamn, you got to get out there every year, man. You don't let years go by
Yeah.
without competing.
Chris and I did 72 shows each. We competed all that. But I don't think it's just Olympia. I mean, top 5 is good. I used to be top 10, but it used to be just like a 6-show total plus European tour. So, you know, top 10 was okay. I think top 5 is so prestigious, you know, keep those top 5.
There's no advantage to it for the sport.
But also,
No.
Bob, do you ever think like it's not just did I win this show? Did I wherever you place is where you place, but you're also just looking at your physique and artistically planning and putting that thing together for the
Yeah.
overall prize and all the overall physique to the best of your ability.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, you got to, you know,
That's the
again, I'm
goal.
all for the problem, I think, with a lot of these guys, like, you know, Milos and Chris, you guys are 2 great examples. 72 shows each, multiple competitions every single year for 10 years. okay, without any break, just putting it out there and trying to win shows, trying to get to the Olympia, making a living, signing contracts, right? These guys today, because shows are so few and far between, it's such a big moment that I think it's too big sometimes for these guys. And it's an entire year down the tubes when they try something new, which why anybody tries anything new before their biggest show in their life is beyond me. But, and then it's another year again, you know what I mean? And it's like, damn, 3-4 years goes by, this guy's competed twice.
And I know we have people that help us with diet at a certain time, but people wasn't hopping from coach to coach and from people just wasn't doing it like that.
Well, it's never the person themselves. It's always the coach.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, never. You told me like you know when the show is coming up. You know the date also. You know if you need to work harder physically. You know if you need to do more cardio or pose harder, whatever you got to do. You know that. But you can't put the blame just on someone trying to guesstimate your fucking physique and what you're gonna look like tomorrow.
Well, let me ask you. Do you know how many shows Samson did in a year and a half with me?
How many?
9.
Well, excellent.
9.
And it paid off.
And he got better every show.
Yeah, sure.
That's right.
But, because sometimes we have these experts, don't do so many, don't do, like, what do you mean? When you're already ready, like for Olympia. Olympia,
Right.
everybody was ready, and then 10 weeks later is Arnold Classic. Oh, it's too close. You're already in shape. You have no fat to lose. Don't let the fat go on. Maintain, a couple of weeks.
You can make a whole nother look out of it.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Well, this is the problem because everybody gets off the show, they lose, and then they think they need major overhauling, right? It's like, look, you're not going to do any major overhauling at 30-something. If you don't have it by then, you ain't getting it, okay? You can make changes, you can make small refinements, but if you're lacking, let's say, arms, right? You ain't getting them between 35 and 38, okay? That you didn't do your work between 19 and now, right? It's not going to happen.
You can get
Take what
smarter.
you got.
You can get smarter in the gym.
Get on a damn stage.
Hey, Bob, it happened for me. I got the arms, but not the right way.
Yeah, wait a minute. Now that's a
Yeah, it's not. You try to enter the 3cc class.
Yeah. 3cc, 3. They look like 30cc.
Hey, I got
5 ml.
I should have qualified that by saying if you think you're going to get bigger arms in the gym,
That's
it ain't going to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
I have
Milos,
to make people look like a fool when they deserve.
Milos will take that to the grave with him.
Yeah,
All of a
yeah,
sudden.
right.
Yeah.
At least you got a sense of humor about it,
It
bro.
was like this. Oh, what is this?
Maybe it'll fit.
Let me put it in. Oh man!
That'll fit in my arm.
But question, Bob, you didn't mention Brandon Curry. Yeah, I think that Brandon is still a major player.
Yeah. No, listen. If you got a former Mr. Olympia, he is automatically in the. If you're good enough to win the Olympia, you always have to be in the conversation. I don't know if there's anything Brandon can do at this point. He's still got that beautiful, pretty physique. Even though he's spent a lifetime trying to bring his legs up to match his arms. His arms and shoulders are so big that I don't think he'll ever quite match. Now he's been damn close.
But the thing is, when I was even out there in Kuwait, I know he improved his quads. I just think you gotta artistically put the shit together, man. You don't just let
me tell you something. The new guys.
It's Thursday and you're doing fucking quads. It's Thursday. It's Friday you're doing arms, and it's just whatever size it goes to.
Let me tell you what helps a lot. All right, it helps to have light kind up there. The best thing that can happen to Brandon Curry is that you now have a Samson and a Jack and some of these newer physiques. Regan Grimes, if he can get his shit together, good young talent, very well put together. That kid could be a superstar. Okay, but when you got those physiques, Brandon compares very well because he's got that dramatic X frame, right? The big arms, shoulders, that tiny waist, still the flaring thighs. He actually matches up much better there with those guys and Derek Lunsford than the other guys, meaning like HADI CHOOPAN, Hunter Labrada, Nick Walker, right? Those guys. They're all a little shorter and squattier and don't quite have the same X frame and all that. So Brandon could find himself in good company if he can bring that conditioning to match his physique. He's got that
seems
same
like he
problem
gets,
Samson
it
had.
seems like he gets better condition, but it don't show up on the stage like that.
Well, that's because it's a struggle. Listen, not everybody has those genetics, you know, like a Branch Warren or a Nick Walker. Some of these guys are just ripped to the bone, you know, and they can hold that. I mean, if I would look like a swizzle stick out there, if I get that kind of conditioning, I'd have been look like a hockey stick with hair.
I just wish they could bring it to the stage, you know, because
He's still got some gas in
time
the
is
tank.
ticking, though, man. Time is ticking.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. You know, if I ask everybody right now, who's going to win the Olympia this year? Bob, you got Samson?
Oh, listen, like I say now, I got to put the caveat to it. I'm going to do the same thing that I did here I actually picked, even though I liked Samson to win the Arnold, I actually had to pick Nick Walker because Samson was unproven to that point. Nick placed third in the Olympia, so you had to give him his respect, all right? If Samson Dauda is anywhere close to 100%, he wins the Olympia this year.
Well, look at Samson's track record. He's been getting better every single show. Even though there was no time to make, for an off season or to make any improvements, he still got better and bigger.
If we're all
So now,
looking,
but now imagine, take that motivation. He just won the Arnold Classic. Isn't he the first British guy who won the Arnold Classic?
yeah,
Yeah, he's first, yeah.
So that motivation alone tells me that he is on a mission. He can't be stopped until the Olympics.
for all the fans out there, okay, that you're beckoning for the old days to come back in the physiques and all that. You got a perfect specimen in front of you right now in Samson Dauda, right? Tall, 6 foot plus, wide shoulders, small waist, flaring, beautiful symmetry, proportion, presentation, and now he's actually put the conditioning with it. You're not going to get a better subject, and he's going to be very, very difficult to beat on that Olympia stage.
Yeah.
He wasn't, let me tell you something, he wasn't far off this year because people keep saying, well, I don't understand. Nick and Ramy beat him at the Olympia. How does he just beat them there? Listen, they'll beat him every time if he's soft. They can't do anything about their lack of symmetry, proportion, and shape. But Samson can do everything about his conditioning, and he did. And he brought it enough. Listen, he wasn't 100%, but he wasn't far off, and it was enough that he's easily in the winner's circle because he's got attributes those other guys can't get right now.
And then as you mentioned, motivation. I mean, that is like one of the biggest weapons you can have in bodybuilding. Mindset, how you feel inside. If your mind is like that, it's just going to show on the outside. I mean, we saw Ronnie do it when he was highly motivated, pissed off. Whatever you're going to utilize to function to get you to that next level, a lot of it's going to be your mindset and how you feel.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well,
The thing is about that motivation, right? It's different. I said a million times. I knew
Motivation.
going against everybody, Dorian and Nasser and Chris and Flex and Shawn. I knew there's no chance. I can be a top contender. Chris, you probably finally sense it there in '99. I don't know. Up until '98, I just don't see how could you possibly convince yourself, yeah, you can beat those guys. But '99, maybe you felt it. I know, Bob, check you.
I actually said it when training for the show because I was like, okay, I want to be in the top 6. I want to be in the top 6.
Yeah.
Like even getting ready for that show, I even said on video, I saw it the other day. It was like, when I say I'm going to be in the top 3, I'm going to be in the top 3. Like I made my mind.
Top 3 is a top 3, and it's not winning.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Yeah.
I gotta get somewhere before I can feel like I can get there.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I gotta
know.
make that first call out. I said, I gotta make that first fucking call out. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, I make the first call out. But but did the judges even feel that way? Because I feel like I should have beat Flex, and the judges didn't let me do it. But I saw it, and I could see it every day that I see, myself up there with him. I just saw it like that.
He was super close, because Flex was seen to be '98 Olympia. Nobody expected Ronnie to win. And then after Ronnie won, there's, okay, '99, here comes Flex. He's coming back to take what is his, right? So they maybe didn't consider that you're going to squeak in. I saw you winning. I love Flex's physique, but I saw you winning, But anyway, I was going to say, Bob, you probably don't even remember, at the Coliseum gym after Night of the Champions, he did the photo shoot, and he was like, bring Ronnie Coleman.
oh, Bob.
Yeah. Bob was saying, bring on Ronnie Coleman. He's ready for it.
Damn, yeah, I was ready to put his oil on for the shoot. Oh yeah. Those were some legend. By the way, I think if I'm not mistaken, was that the day before or after Milos when what's his name? Fuchs destroyed his legs there?
Possibly, yeah.
That was in 2001.
That was in 01?
Yes.
Or 02?
01.
Oh, well, maybe it was just that. I could have sworn it was closer to that, but I remember that.
No, because I remember exactly because I did the photo shoot before the Arnold, and he did it later. That I don't know how much later than my photo shoot because I think that he told him that I was doing 7th place on the squat, and so he did it, but he did it free weights.
So you're the reason he got
You
wrapped
do on
up.
a Smith machine?
I don't know for sure, but I think that's what Chris Lunt told me.
Yeah, but Chris didn't want to use the fake weights at all.
Yeah, we didn't, and that's the reason why we started using fake weights after that shoot. I never did either.
I was like, if I can't lift it, I don't want to look like I'm trying to lift some shit I can't even lift.
But you know
I
how
mean, the only guy that really used the fake stuff was Nephew from Iron Man. He had that whole collection of, you could look like Hercules out there with those big dumbbells, and they weighed like 15 pounds,
Oh, really?
But,
I never did a photo shoot with that
it's
stuff.
Mike Nephew for Iron Man, for Balak, for Iron Man magazine.
I know Milos had them fake weights in this gym afterwards, though. They said and you could tell, too, because they were round and shiny. When you put them in between, you could always pick them out.
And
so when you look at the pictures on Flex magazine, and you see like 7 plates, if you focus on, you can see which one's the fake.
Well, listen, in all fairness to the people out there, if you're watching this, listen, the awkward positions that you're put in to capture a shot is so weird that it's hard
like,
to use
it's
real
not
weight.
like training.
Like
You
we've
gotta
all done
actually adjust.
curling, right? The curling shot where you've got to be sideways to the camera holding the thing. It's not a curling position, but if you just did a regular curl, you can't see the bicep. You know what I mean? So we're always putting these weird, awkward, they look great when the picture comes out. Chris Lund was, the best by far, in my opinion. But, man, there were some awkward positions that you had to hold.
Bro, I videotaped a lot of my shoots. Even I got a lot with Chris, even on DVD. And you're right about that, because I had to extend my arm out.
Yeah.
Is there a video? Is there also a video of you falling asleep during the shoot?
No.
You don't have that.
I was there. Hey.
Leaning against the machine, falling asleep.
Hey, bro, I'm just after the Olympia '98, and we're out in the club until it was like the time was ticking. You don't even know what time it is. It's all dark. And I looked at my watch and like, oh shit, I gotta go. Everyone was like, no, man, why you gotta go? I said, I got a photo shoot. I said, oh, okay, when? Right now. Shit, I gotta go.
He fell asleep in the bus
and I went back. You guys were already sitting outside of the hotel, and I just jumped into the Winnebago we had, and we started rolling out. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a fucked up day.
Quick, hey, Bob, quick, before we finish, quick, I want to hear your word regarding the Shawn Ray Chat and Dominic Nichols situation.
Ill-placed, ill-timed, unnecessary. Should have been squashed on Thursday night when they ran into each other and had whatever words. I must have just missed it because actually me and Milos were kicking around, having some fun and working with some of the younger guys there. A special young kid, actually, we got some great video footage. And I must have just missed it. But listen, there's no place for that kind of stuff. I mean, they should have squashed whatever they had on Thursday night. The fact that that Dominic, his son, went back on Friday or whatever it was, this time was somebody filming it. Listen, this wasn't like a spur of the moment or anything. The guy's working at a booth, title sponsor for the show, meeting and greeting, signing on, and you got to come up to him. And I mean, that wasn't cool. It wasn't right. I mean, I know he's a young kid and all that stuff, but not the place for that. It wasn't cool.
Well, there you have it. Voice of Bodybuilding, Mr. Bob Ciccarello.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, Bob. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Milos,
Always a pleasure, boys.
Chris,
Waxing about the old days.
You guys know.
What up?
Okay.
All right,
Bob.
So I guess we all see each other next time in person. Probably. Who's going to the FIBO?
I will be there, my brother, this year.
Okay. You're not going, Milos?
No, I haven't been to FIBA for 15 years at least.
Why?
Good.
And
We're gonna get you on
I mean,
stage.
listen, even, for all the show, Arnold Classic, I pay for my flight, for hotel, for everything, right? Times two,
So now, of course you pay for your flight, but now isn't Samson now covering this after he got this fat check?
we don't talk about this. But,
No, wait a minute. What are we talking about?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Did you go for anybody else other than Samson?
no.
So you just went for Samson? So, but I'm sure he's going to say, "Hey,
Yeah, I
Milos,
mean, listen, I would go to see the show anyway. You guys know I'm a bodybuilding fan anyway.
I understand that, but listen, you
It's just
going
like,
there, you went there.
People, how can I just, what I'm going to do? You just,
Milos.
walk around?
Milos. If it wasn't for any athlete there at the show, you would have watched that shit on pay-per-view. Okay? You would not fly to fucking Columbus on Tuesday.
That's a lot of food. Too.
Hey, listen,
How much did you eat
you
out
already
there?
know there was John Jones fight here in Vegas that I had.
That's what I'm saying. So if it wasn't for Samson, you would never went to
I had
Columbus.
to pass that one. That still kind of hurts. Like, oh my God! But oh well.
Yeah, but I think as a if you rely on a coach, if a coach is with you, I
Yes.
think this is something that the
You
athlete
should.
I'm going to
Especially-
reach out to Samson myself. All right, the cheap bastard. You got 300 grand. Fly your coach over to the UK, over to Germany, and put him up at FIBO for God's sake.
Yeah.
Just so me. and
Well,
Michael's gonna
people,
eat
he's
around.
not competing. He's not competing, right?
I don't give a shit what he's doing. Okay, it's
I know. Hey,
he needs
listen.
to fly your ass out there.
Hey, he needed the money much more than I do, and I'm delighted.
Oh, he got an extra 100,000 that he didn't even know he
I
was
know.
going to have.
Right?
Yeah.
So tell him give you a couple of grand for the flight and for the hotel.
Extra.
All right, guys, I appreciate y'all. Take care. We'll see y'all. I see y'all in
right.
Germany. And Milos, maybe we'll find a way for Milos. Maybe
Bob.
we'll still find a way for you to make it to Germany. I'll think of something.
Some wiener schnitzel out there.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, guys. Take care, guys. Be safe. Bye bye.
Later, boys.